Right. Let's dive into a world where your most dangerous enemy isn't some foreign spy, it's your own past. Today, we're tearing down a Black Ops thriller from Ian Graham that all boils down to one terrifying question.
Just think about that for a second. Imagine you've built a whole new life, a quiet, peaceful life, but the very skills you learned in the darkness are exactly what some powerful enemy needs to paint you as a monster. That right there is the absolute nightmare at the heart of this story.
So here's how we're going to tackle this today. First, we'll get the essential intel on the book itself. Then we'll drop right into the deadly plot. We're going to use the author's own words to expose the conspiracy, then we'll deliver our final verdict, and of course, give you your next mission for your reading list. Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first, let's get the vitals on the book itself.
So, this thriller comes from Ian Graham's Black Ops bundle, and it was published way back in 2013. Now, if you're a fan of those fast-paced, high-stakes political and espionage stories, the ones with those tangled webs of conspiracy, well, this one is aimed squarely at you.
All right, now for the good stuff, the setup. This is where the fuse gets lit on a plot that is designed to completely shatter one man's world. So, let me introduce you to our protagonist, Declan McIver. He is the classic retired operative, he's living off the grid, he's building this really quiet life with his wife, Constance. I mean, this guy has done everything he possibly can to bury the man he used to be.
But that past? Yeah, it comes roaring back when his old mentor and boss, the super-influential Dr. Abe Coffney, is killed in a bombing. And this is no accident. The scene is meticulously, perfectly crafted. Every single piece of evidence is planted to make Declan McIver look like the perfect assassin.
So to really understand just how deep this frame-up goes, we're going to pull 5 key quotes directly from the book. These are going to walk us step by step through every single layer of the plot against Declan.
The very first piece of this conspiracy puzzle comes from this quote right here, talking about Declan's past. You see, those 3 claw-like markings tattooed on his arm, they aren't just some old memory. They are a brand.
And that brand tells you everything. It connects him to an elite IRA unit, which means he's lethal, he's highly skilled, and that his violent past is literally etched into his skin. Now think about that. What could possibly be a more perfect tool for an enemy looking to frame him as a terrorist?
So, as Declan starts piecing things together, he realizes this isn't the work of some small-time group. This quote says it all. Whoever they were, they had to be well-connected and very powerful, both politically and financially.
And boom, all of a sudden this isn't just a hit, it's a political move. It's orchestrated by people with immense influence. The stakes just rocket from a personal vendetta to a full-blown deep-state conspiracy. And that is exactly why Declan can't just call the police for help. They're part of the very system that's being used as a weapon against him. Which brings us to the real heart of the story, Declan's core motivation. After an attempt on their lives, he refuses to go to the authorities, and he tells his wife Constance this.
And that single promise, I'm not going to anyone until I know you're safe, that is the emotional engine of the entire book. It grounds this massive conspiracy in something deeply personal, and it justifies his every single move. He has to become a fugitive, because the only thing in the world that matters is protecting her.
Okay, let's flip the script for a second. Now we're looking at this from the villain's perspective. This is the architect of the whole conspiracy, Senator David Kemmis, explaining his cold, calculated plan.
So, you see what's happening? The goal isn't just to kill Declan, or even just to frame him for murder. No, it's to utterly destroy his credibility by weaponizing his history. By painting him as an IRA terrorist, they make sure that no matter what he says, no one will ever believe him. It is a perfect, inescapable trap.
And here we see that trap being sprung. We're in a scene where Senator Kemmis is just expertly manipulating a CIA station chief. He isn't barking orders, he's planting the seeds of a false narrative, turning the entire intelligence community into his own personal weapon to use against Declan.
This is the devastating result of that manipulation. Kemmis twists the truth so cleverly that the world's most powerful intelligence agencies become his unwitting pawns. The full force of international law enforcement is turned against one man, proving just how perfectly his own past has been weaponized to hunt him down.
So, we've seen the plot, we know the players, and the stakes are absolutely sky high. Now it's time to step back and give our final analysis of the book.
You know, if there's one core message to take away from this entire story, it's this. In the shadowy world of espionage, your past is a weapon that can always be used against you. And the people you really should fear the most aren't enemy agents in the dark, but powerful men in suits smiling for the cameras.
So let's talk feedback. What are the book's biggest strengths? Well, the pacing is just breakneck, and the conspiracy at its core is genuinely complex. This story will keep you turning the pages, for sure. On the downside, the cast of characters is huge, and I mean it can be tough to keep everyone straight. It also leans on some familiar tropes of the genre, but honestly, it executes them with so much energy that it's pretty easy to forgive. Which brings us to our final score. We are giving Ian Graham's thriller a solid 7 out of 10. It is a compelling, action-packed read that delivers exactly what fans of this genre are looking for.
And if this sounds like your kind of book, you should absolutely check out Lee Child's Jack Reacher series for another highly skilled loner taking on shadowy forces. And if you want more deep state political corruption and counterterrorism action, you really can't go wrong with Vince Flynn's iconic Mitch Rapp series.
And that's all for this one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to follow, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.